the initial reason why they were interviewing you was because you sued the police force because that must have been, I mean, that must have been hectic, suing a police force.
Very hectic. In the media, like it was.
Was it in the media?
Yeah, I mean, my arrest was on camera.
Your
This
arrest?
went on BBC.
Oh, you got arrested and then you
Times
sued them and
Magazine,
then...
yeah. It's
Wow.
a bit surreal, but doing that and having this naive thought of if I go and speak on these like channels and stations, that it would be active change. But turns out to be kind of this trend, like speaking about the biggest police force and suing them and having a case became a hot topic. So a lot of the journalists and interviews I was working with, I started to kind of like see through the intention of speaking about this. And I didn't see that there was true intention to talk about like solutions. So the big thing was kind of like, what do you think about male culture? And I was interested in how do we solve this with the violence against women? You know, let's talk about protecting victims and those policies. But it was more topical to talk about men are violent, men are abusers, and okay, the percentages of violence committed by men is higher, but what is that going to solve? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how to strengthen victims' voices. But so there's a few things that this is not for me right
because
now.
The people interviewing you wanted to fit into a narrative. That's
Exactly.
it. And your narrative was different to what they were trying to.
For me, a lot of the things that I face, the trauma that I face, was committed. In fact, all of them was committed by men.
Mm-hmm.
So I also had this worldview of men are terrible. So I got a male therapist to change that worldview because it didn't empower me to have that worldview.
Yeah.
I focus on how to strengthen myself, like my voice.
That's clever. Yeah, that's good thinking.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't go on like that. Like,
Yes.
There's loads of men around, and I can't see. I knew that wasn't a balanced worldview. So I don't think it enables victims to say, men. It's just going to scare them more. And fear is
all
not
men
empowering.
are evil. Yeah.
It's how is that empowering? Rather than talking about, okay, this is how we can strengthen the victim's voice, to speak up, to not blame themselves, to have active, actual tools to help them get through, policies for the police to be able to actually protect them, to have the knowledge how to deal with abuse victims, practical solutions. But there was more interested in men are violent, which, okay, but it's not empowering. And it's the world of, I hate saying this, but feminism at the moment. Like, you're surrounded by other women who are incredible and incredibly clever, but it's within that world it was fractured. You know, you had feminists who weren't for trans rights, some that were, and there was a split. So then I started to see this as, it was a really confusing world, and really I didn't see myself as an activist, I didn't see myself as a feminist. I was just someone that experienced violence, spoke up about it, and placed some responsibility where it's due, and empowered my own voice. And I became wrapped in this kind of world that, I didn't have that intention. So
it's fascinating. I saw somebody graffitied in Zurich. It was like "F the patriarchy," like. It's a huge movement nowadays. It's like anti-patriarchy. It's like, is it patriarchy or is it just F men, and that's 50% of the population. Like,
it is F men. And I'll be honest with you, I get it.
Yeah. I do too. I mean,
1 in 3 women that face sexual violence. I mean, it's like,
well, and it's the history as well. I mean,
it's history. I get this hate and rage, and listen, get it out. But ultimately, does it empower you? Ultimately, does it empower us to see men are evil? Because I need to interact with men. and I interact with men at work, I interact with men at training, and having this view of they're going to hurt me is too it's too scary. Whereas now it's kind of like the fear exists, there's still danger, but I strengthened my boundaries and my voice. So if anything does happen, I can speak up. I spoke about it up in training. It's those sorts of tools, rather than straight away meeting any man thinking he's going to harm me and hating him straight away. Can't do that. And I know some men feel the same way about women. They feel like women are manipulators and they're going to take their money. So you can't, it can go both ways.
Yeah, well, it started now because there's a lot of incels with men, you know, because there being a lot of women that are saying F the patriarchy now, especially in youngsters, they like a lot of incels where they go like F women, you know, like, and they are like following websites on like how to the tape guy, and there's another guy, Tomasi as well. So they're writing these books, having huge followings.
Huge, and I've worked with women who go into schools and speak to young boys, and the amount they see and are repeating is, it's becoming polarized, like a polarized
it's getting more polarized, which is not the answer, is it?
Yeah. So I don't want to be part of that either side. It's not like it's not like that, but scary. But all of that was terrifying because what it does is feminists in that same specific world, in their world, see incels growing, their views get strengthened.
Yeah.
Incels then see that world grow, and it becomes stronger and stronger and more polarized.
Yeah, more polarized. Yeah.
Like,
just more hate.
This.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, I've even got friends that just find themselves going down like YouTube rabbit holes of, and they say that they don't even know how they got there, but they just end up watching, just going down like after a couple of hours. Next thing they know, they're watching like how to manipulate women. You know, it's not just how to manipulate women, but how stupid women are. Just like just going like, and they actually don't even know how they got there. It's just like somehow the algorithm kind of picked up on a small little bit of insecurity and then kind of started nudging them along that way. And then they go like, what have I been watching the last 2 hours?
I hope people can like get the awareness that this doesn't feel right. This doesn't, I don't know, for me, the only way I got out of it was the hate didn't feel good. It just sucked me into the world. Because I don't want to say I love myself too much, but yeah, I love being happy too much.
Yeah.
This is throughout many themes in my life. I chose that route.
Yeah.
And continues until now. It doesn't matter what it is. Intensity at work or getting lost with travel. Something starts to feel more and more scary and dark, and there's pressure, whatever it is. It's like listening to the light, and I feel like everyone has that inside of them. They know deep down this is attractive to believe. It's
current.
You can blame, and you can you don't need to take responsibility for anything. It's attractive, but ultimately
you can blame everything on a certain thing and then not do any work for yourself, really.
Oh my god,
because everything's something outside of you that you can blame on.
And I think that's so paralyzing. It's attractive, but it paralyzes you.
Well, it's easier than working yourself. At first, and then it starts getting dark, I think.
Really dark, really dark. I mean, that's why even though I had active proof and experience that men have hurt me physically, sexually, emotionally, it was there. And there was a few years I was like, blaming and angry. But then it was like, okay, this is getting really dark. There's got to be a different way. There's got to be.
Yeah,
So I hope that for people.
yeah, me too. I really, it's a very polarizing time. I'd say the most in human history when it comes to men and women. I mean, people have always, I believe, complained, about the opposite sex, but to this extent, where it's like groups are formed.
Wars used to happen over
Oh yeah,
women.
yeah.
A few reasons why there would be an invasion, a war, and some they would say like, oh, this woman is in the sapiens, but is like aligned.
Oh, I forget that part of it. I must read that book again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You were saying last time we spoke that you'd been down many avenues and of success and of activism and down so many avenues and not found happiness. And so you came to a realization, you were saying. What was it, if you don't mind speaking about that?
I feel like most people,
Yeah.
without realizing, I chased anything that felt good
Yes.
and avoided anything that felt bad.
Yes.
But I knew that you needed to experience some pain and discomfort to experience something good. So I knew that I had to work to feel fulfilled, and some of that work might feel uncomfortable. And so I knew all of that. But what I found myself in a position is I was overworking to ultimately feel more fulfilled and chase this high of success. But the reason wasn't because I wanted to grow, or partly, but it was ultimately because I really wanted to feel good about myself. I really wanted more and more success. Same with training.
And it's addictive as well,
it's
hey?
so addictive.
Success is very addictive.
And I really think we should talk about that, because I didn't know, even activity, training, it became so addictive. It was like you're in pain, and then you get this high and you feel good about yourself, and your body starts to look a bit better. So then forget resting properly, or when I was getting ill, it was so frustrating, or injuries. It's like, I need to be at this level. And I know that you need some discomfort, but ultimately it's because I want to gain, 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 gain. And then you've got the pleasure side of things, of, chasing any highs, whether it's drinking and,
Parties and, or
fantasizing. I chasing that fantasy, traveling to a million places. And knowing that I'm human and have limits kept slapping me in the face, with my body feeling tired, my brain feeling foggy, like my emotions feeling all over the place. I'm not connecting with the things in front of me. And the things that were supposed to give me pleasure, like this fulfillment through work and training, that sense of pleasure was decreasing more and more. I'm not in the moment with training, I'm not in the moment with work, and getting resentful, and things getting dark again, and it feels like you just can't win. It's like I'm doing the work, I'm doing what's seen as healthy, and I'm back in this hole of like. So I've learned brutally, I found it was the last thing I wanted to do was slow down.
kicking and screaming.
Kicking and screaming to slow down, process emotions, find distance through the emotions, and not, if I'm feeling tired or sad, I don't need to avoid it. It's okay to feel it. And then I started feeling this freedom. Like, oh my God, I'm tired, so I can actually have a nap. And then feeling really rested. And then I started feeling satisfied with just sitting on a chair in a cafe.
Yeah.
Because I'm more awake and in the moment, and I'm not chasing. The simpler things became more pleasurable.
Was there any literature that you had read, or was there someone that had got you into it, or?
An accumulation of meditating.
So you had started meditating, so you had made the active decision to start meditating.
Many, many years ago, when if it wasn't for meditation, I don't think I'd be here. That's how I knew I needed to clear my mind. but it was very difficult and it was built up. But it got to the point now where I went to a meditation retreat, and it was 6 days, no phone, and someone giving me a practice, and then really embedding that practice. It's hard though. There's always a pull to go back into old ways, but I know now through so many experiments, there's no other way. You have to slow down. You have to find a distance between your emotions and your thoughts, because it's being trapped by them that causes this suffering. It's not them exactly. It's not, oh, I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling jealous, or I'm feeling insecure, that puts me down. It's avoiding them or overemphasizing on them. It's letting them pass. Like now it's just like, oh, I'm feeling happy, or I'm feeling a little bit down. It's like, it's okay, like it can all pass.
Yeah.
That's where I'm finding freedom, and it's terrifying for me, because that means you have to surrender. It's the unknown.
Well, it's the spiritual path as well.
Spiritual.
Yeah.
Because you have to have faith. You have to believe that it's not in your control, because it isn't. It's scary. It's terrifying, but I know it's the way, because I've tried others and it works. Like,
it definitely seems to be working in your life.
100% works.
Yeah.
100% works. I've tried typical sense of success. I've tried typical sense of altruism and activism in that world, and I've tried making myself more attractive in fitness.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Like, going internal.
The spiritual path seems to be
Yeah.
what you're talking
I
about.
call it spiritual path.
What would you call it?
What I noticed is some of my thoughts end up focusing on what the other person might think of me.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
When I found this space within myself, there was a sense of, this is my world almost, and I can find comfort in it.
Okay.
Because I've always got myself. So.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
so it's the journey within.
Journey within.
Sorry, I'm putting words in your mouth.
No, I know what you mean, but it's on the surface. You can call it spirituality. You can call it a journey. For me, it's almost I don't know. It's like this objective scientific method that I've been using through testing. I just know that letting your thoughts go, releasing them, finding comfort within you is freeing. So whether that may lead, maybe I do end up praying or whatever it is, but there's no label on it. And it's the same with the activism stuff. Like there's an interview that I can send you after. Dania is unaware that she's an activist.
Yeah.
I never had that view of. Whereas my colleagues, they would have like activists and
I'm gonna have to see that interview. Yeah.
I'll share it with you.
Dania's unaware that she's an activist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Completely.
You were at the time.
I guess you can say that. It's
Yeah.
the same with this journey now. I guess you can say that. But really what I'm doing is just doing what feels the best.
I get it. You don't want to be put into a box as well.
I guess.
Yeah.
So. Because I also have friends that are on the spiritual path. They say it has become a personality.
Yes, it's become.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I get it.
I'm not a yogi. I'm not a spiritualist.
Yeah.
I do some methods that,
Yeah.
work, but it's freeing not to be anything. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to be in 5 years' time. It could be something completely else, but I just know this works for now.
What would bug me about that, and still does, is when people ask you, like for me, what is this podcast about? I go, spirituality. but it's not really. It's like, or maybe I'm just scared to actually say what it's about, but it's not really. It's just understanding what makes you happy.
100%.
Really, you know, like it's just.
100%.
And to me, a lot of that has to do with spirituality, but it's to try to figure out how to be happy in this world, you know.
That's it. How to feel free,
Yeah,
empowered, and liberated, to be able to cope with this. Like, we don't. No one has a clue why we're here, and whatever. It's that, exactly that. It's having these methods that.
yeah, we don't want to be put in boxes, and I don't think we need to either. Yeah.
I really don't think we need to. I don't want to be.
I mean, I go to a Christian church because I find it helps me. It really, really helps me. It reduces my anxiety, you know, I think it's deep, but it's, there's a lot of things that I question when it comes to Christianity.
But it makes you feel something.
It makes me feel good, and I get along with everyone there, and everyone's so nice, and I really enjoy the people, you know, and I'm sure they are the same. I'm sure they have their own independent thoughts about what that text would mean, but they're not going to start arguing with the pastor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I've noticed actually that, you know, churches have changed. Actually, when I was young, I went to a Christian church. It was all about this is the way or else. Now it's just so welcoming, and
It is. It's changed. It's
Yeah.
been forced to change because it no longer has that level of control. It knows that it can't control people's mind, and I think that's
Yeah.
because you don't have to say you're Christian. You're also a yogi. You're also this. There's just too many. It's like, I'm just human. This makes me feel good. This speaks to me, and I want to practice this, and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
nothing else.
Yeah, I worry a little bit about that, because about first principles. It's like, this makes me feel good, therefore I'm just going to pursue it. I'm not learning from thousands of years of people making mistakes, because that's what I believe is, you know, this is kind of a big part of my belief is that in these spiritual teachings that are common around the world, there are certain things that if you don't adhere to, like lying, you know, like not doing unto others, if you don't stick to those things, then life will.
Yeah, this feel good thing. You have to
Yeah.
be very careful with it.
Yes.
It's not just about what feeds your ego, is pleasurable.
Yeah,
I feel like it's almost like on a visceral level. Like lying, for example, they found out that it changes. It has an effect.
it's something to do with energy.
Yeah, it has an effect. So also
Okay.
it's bad for you.
Yeah.
Telling the truth. So all of these principles, I think, are rooted in. Ultimately, it's good for us because it feels. I don't tell the truth because I'm a good person. It just feels a lot easier. To be
Yeah.
honest with myself. Like,
You've discovered that, though.
I discovered that, you know,
Yeah.
I grew up in a Muslim family, and it was like, you have to do these. And I told my parents when I left Islam, I want to experience these and see how it is. I want to learn from them.
Yeah.
You know, I no longer drink, not because there's like, this is
You don't
bad.
drink?
It doesn't feel good anymore. Like, you know, it's.
You were so happy the other night. I thought you were definitely drunk at 420 bar.
No.
I thought you were definitely putting a couple down. You were giggling and. Oh, wow.
So
Interesting.
it was just, there's just loads of things. Ultimately, if you get more in touch with your body, you automatically will stop or do more on, because it doesn't feel. Nature as another one, you know. Yeah, so the lying, stealing, I think all of those ultimately don't feel good for you. Like,
Yeah, they feel
really
naturally
deep
wrong.
down.
Yeah.
Really deep down. So,
And hurting others. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And it's not as black and white as that either, because some people have to lie in certain situations. In certain situations, they have to steal. So if I started labeling things as good and bad, judging people for their actions, so that's why, yeah, the religious road, I mean, we could go down and talk about it. Like, I don't see it as black and white, it's these commandments. good, bad, becomes this, it becomes too restrictive.
Yeah, if you're starving for your life, I mean,
I don't blame that person for
no,
stealing. I take it. I'm
yeah,
not starving for. I don't have a need to steal.
yeah,
But growing up, I had really strict parents. I had to lie. I lived in a Western country, and just to survive socially, I had to lie to them. I hated it, but I had to. I don't judge myself for that. I don't judge for people that are in life-threatening situations that have to lie. But this is a rabbit hole. I'm just thinking.
okay. All right, you have to get to the, you
I'm
have to
gonna
get to the
get to the
cave.
thing. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank
But
you.
this has been. I'm so glad we had this conversation.
Yeah, enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
Are you gonna say namaste?
No, I always do this. I don't know
Okay.
why. Thank you, namaste. No,
All right,
it's
thanks,
really good.
Dania.
Thanks very much.
Send me that link.
I will. The news one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll send you the newspaper screenshots and then maybe a couple of interviews.